What's the crack? Welcome to the Irish Voice Podcast, an extremely positive edition of the Irish Voice Podcast after the win against Liverpool. So, four topics we want to cover off tonight. First off, Liverpool has to be talked about. Secondly, I want to talk about the importance this is to our season. And thirdly, I'm going to talk about Manchester United's squad and the options available to Ruben Amorim. And then fourth, as always, we will look ahead to the weekend. So, who wants to kick off? What a win.
Is the statue built yet?
I am his biggest fan now, Harry. I just love him. I love Maguire.
Yeah. I'd say there'll be some children born in 9 months' time with the first name Harry.
Yeah.
Yeah, 110%.
Unbelievable. And Jacqueline, you done the same again. What you done like in the Leon game? You turned it off, and lo and behold, Maguire gets the winner.
I did. When Cody Gakpo scored, I thought, right, shit, this is Liverpool always do it. They're going to come back. They're going to, and I turned it off just to save myself heartache. And then Rory texts, build that man a statue, and I thought, oh no way, has Harry Maguire scored the winner now?
Who else? Who else?
And then I didn't even watch it. I didn't even switch it back on, right? I watched FootMob, for the scores.
Yeah.
And I was just counting down the minutes, and then I thought, why did they make 8 minutes extra time? Do you know what I'm saying? I said, that's just for them to, get the winner, and stuff like that, or equalise. And I really thoroughly enjoyed, without the palpitations, watching it back, after the score. That's what Man United does to you. It just makes you mentally ill.
Yeah, it was just a brilliant feeling. No, I think the best thing that I took from the Liverpool win was the fight and determination that was in that Manchester United team. And I thought Arne Slot was so bitter afterwards when he's saying, when teams come and they play in the low block, we haven't won in 10 years in Anfield. Of course, and we have a squad that is massively, massively underskilled. And you cannot come and play one of the best teams in Europe with an attacking style of football and win that game if you have the current Manchester United squad. And Ruben Amorim, Jamie Carragher was brilliant Monday night. Ruben Amorim got his tactics so spot on, from the front three condensing the pitch in an hour and a half to the defence just sitting in a low block and waiting for Liverpool to absorb. He just got it so right. And I think if he had better players, he would probably play a more attacking style of football. But for what we have and how they came out and played that game, I have no negative comments. I thought United were brilliant on Sunday. I thought it was just a brilliant performance, a vintage performance, if you will. A team that's up against it and just backs to the wall type stuff. And when you need him, he's there.
Yeah. Although, did you see the meme that was doing the rounds? I don't know how they did it. It has to be AI or whatever, right? But it's Ruben Amorim walking into the Anfield dressing room and saying something like, hey, Arnold, just to let you know, we're going to play the low block and we're going to play long balls. It was brilliant.
I mean, the long ball that they're referencing, United did try to play football in the midfield. There were some brilliant sweeping movements from United in that. I think what he's referencing is the fact that the defence and the goalkeeper didn't want to try and play out against a better midfield. And that's all it was. They just kept putting the ball long and negating the Liverpool press, and that's a tactic that can't be shown up by Arne Slot, because Arne Slot's raging and exposed a weakness that Liverpool have. If Virgil van Dijk doesn't win the ball, the other three defenders aren't up for it.
I think one of the other things you're pointing out, the tactical side of things, and why maybe he didn't play Sesko, and I could see it because I pointed out, as I was saying to the guys as well in the group chat, is like not playing Sesko because Van Dijk and they love an aerial battle. So there it looked like, even I think it was Carragher and Al pointed it out, and as well, it's like they were expecting Van Dijk to win the first ball, and then we had the players sitting waiting to get the second ball, and United won every second ball and then attacked from the past the halfway line, so to not have the midfield battle is taken out then, where Liverpool are far stronger at the minute than our squad, and then attacking from the three and the one in the formation, which worked absolutely well. And everyone done Matthias Cunha, unbelievable.
He was brilliant, and he had to compete for every ball that was up there, and that's a tactical thing. You're setting your team up to say, look, put Van Dijk under pressure. He probably will win 90% of these, but the 10% he doesn't win is defenders. There's no cohesion in the Liverpool backline at the minute. They don't look like a unit, and that you can turn around and say, okay, they've made big changes there. Konate is a player from last year, but they brought in 2 new fullbacks and they're experimenting with a different style of play and stuff like that. But you need to work brilliantly to expose that. Couldn't you put Van Dijk under pressure every time he could? And Mbeumo kept moving in behind Cunha, expecting second ball to come. And if you look at the first goal, that's exactly what happened. It's just a perfectly weighted ball after a mistaken Van Dijk taking out Alexis McAllister, and it's 1-0.
Yeah, but Matthias de Ligt said that their game plan was to get at the fullbacks because that was Liverpool's weakness. And when they played, who did they play? Stuttgart, was it? No. Anyway, in the Champions League.
Oh, Frankfurt there.
The fullbacks. Who, sorry?
Frankfurt.
Yeah, they changed the fullbacks.
I know, and I thought they were going to.
Andy Robertson and the other man. But that's in the interview after the match. That's what De Ligt said. That was her plan, to attack the fullbacks because that was Liverpool's weakness. And I think that Carragher and there was another Liverpool pundit actually criticised, is it Kirkes?
Yeah.
That at times he didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah. Kirkes is a classic example of a Premier League player moving into a Premier League team and everybody expecting it to be an instant success, I feel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Bournemouth played much deeper than Liverpool played. Liverpool play a very sweeping. Like, how many times did Kirkes against us take the ball and just maraud down that left hand side? He was brilliant at that, but he was caught out a few times at the back, and it's because he's being asked to do both sides of the game now. Where at Bournemouth, they kind of had a harder work in midfield. They weren't just bombing forward; they were being cautious about things at the back. Mm-hmm. Liverpool, at some stage of that game, only had their 2 centre backs sitting back, and everybody else was in a circle, putting United under pressure, and that can be countered. It's simple football. You get a break with a quick player. Cunha did it at the end, where he knocked it around the fullback, and then all of a sudden he was waiting. You've seen the space before somebody took him down. It's just like, that's how you relieve the pressure. You give it to a Mason Mount and Matthias Cunha, who can break the press, who can turn and move forward. And I think that's the difference I'm seeing in Amorim's United and previous iterations of the same team being played. They look more confident on the half turn and going.
Yeah, not just reliant on the counter attack. I think, obviously we spoke there about it. We know what our midfield is like, and obviously you're at Anfield and you're gonna mostly play. I know he drops into a 5 at the back and stuff during any game when they're defending, but you expect. I thought, whenever Manchester United we did go forward, that we did look dangerous, and it wasn't just sit back for 90 minutes and try and hit them on the counter. Like, we did play some good stuff as well, and not just hope for a bit of luck or not making any mistakes. So I was impressed with the tactical side of things, and actual going for it when the chance arose, and sustaining a bit of pressure at times at Anfield, which is something I haven't seen in a long time, and it's good to see.
Definitely. How much can you read into Benjamin Sesko not starting?
I think it's tactical. I think it was more like I said earlier, you had Van Dijk and Konate at the back, 2 big strong centre backs who will win 80-90% of their headers, physical battles against one striker. So United being more frail in the midfield, Bruno coming a bit forward. When you play Cunha with Mbeumo and Mount, that them rotating them roles, dropping back in the midfield, it gives that extra body as well to win them second balls as well, like I spoke about earlier, and just more of a presence in the midfield, not to get broke through and let Liverpool play their game. And I thought that worked very well.
Mm-hmm.
But who now plays better up front, Cunha or Sesko? Because I would argue that Cunha's performance up front is probably the best I've seen from a United striker in a while. He didn't score a goal, which is hard to judge, but he was absolutely brilliant and instrumental.
He was fantastic,
So Cunha or Sesko?
I think it depends on the opposition.
Who would you pay up from them?
Well, I mean, you can have both of them on the pitch.
Who do you drop? You know, it's a nice conundrum to have. It's not a negative.
We're not used to having these conundrums.
You have to have quality on the bench as well, you know. So, and I agree with Kieran. It was a tactical decision. There will be teams that Sesko will start, and either Cunha or Mbeumo will not. Mbeumo, sorry. So I think that's it's good to have a strong bench, players that can come on and either change the game or slot in seamlessly.
Yeah, I think with the current, Mason Mount has been very, very clever, in my opinion, because he has made himself undroppable. He probably won't have the output that Sesko, Cunha and Mbeumo will have in terms of goals. But what Mount is doing is he's the only person in the team that looks like he fully understands both roles that are expected of that 10. He's coming into midfield and he's pressing and he's making challenges. He's harassing people off the ball and helping his fullback out. And he's making himself the glue between both transitions. He comes that wee bit deeper, looks for the ball, gets up, plays the first pass, and then takes off on a run. And I think that is vital in that system because he's almost a relief player for when he's on the pitch, Mason Mount. And I was looking at it going, that is brilliant for Mason Mount, but that gives us such a headache because surely now it's Sesko or Cunha and Mbeumo.
When you were starting, when we were starting the season, you thought, you know, it's got Mount injury prone. You know, his days are numbered. We've got Cunha and Mbeumo. They're the nailed on too, and now Mount's come on. He hasn't got injured. He looks fit. He looks sharp. He's got a goal there in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
You know, he's an assistant. Yeah. You know,
he is a very intelligent player. His best attribute is his football IQ and his understanding of the English game.
Yeah, and what's Mount? 27, 26, 27?
26, 27? Yeah. So Mount's going to be there for a couple of years.
You know
he's only really coming into his peak, you would say, now Mason Mount, although he's been hampered massively by injury. So if Mount can sustain this and add a few more goals in his locker, Mason Mount is surely nailed on to play that left side of the 7 role. And Cunha and Sesko might have to fight it out for the striker. Well, what happens, though, to Joshua Zirkzee? I thought Joshua Zirkzee looks a very lonely figure at the minute on the Manchester United bench. You know, when the attacking options and stuff are being decided, he's not even in the conversation. But he's a £50 million, 120 grand a week striker.
Yeah, the gossip is that West Ham want to take him on loan in January.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's the latest I've read on him. Now, I know there were teams from Serie A and he wants the loan because he wants to be playing in the World Cup.
Yeah, he wants to, obviously, everyone wants minutes in the World Cup.
So
the World Cup and all that there.
Is that it's what do you call it? West Ham want to take him on loan, and that Man United for some reason want him loaned out to a Premier League side.
Okay.
Well, it could be. Well, on that there, it could be kind of the thinking is if they're going to load him out, do the plan to a Premier League side? Do the plan on keeping him in the squad?
Well, see, that's it.
For Premier
League, it is a loan. If you're loaned, you're going to look for a loan that you're going to be playing week in, week out. You don't want to be loaned to a team like Man City or Chelsea that you're going to be sitting on the bench the same way you are at Man United.
West Ham's happy with that. They were utter dog shit at the minute.
No, they're absolutely woeful.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. He's going to be playing every week until the World Cup starts. But
West Ham fans will have a meltdown though.
Zirkzee the saviour from relegation.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't. Like, I think the West Ham fans will have a meltdown. They're having a meltdown at the minute because I listen to Talksport every day about the Callum Wilson pay-to-play scenario. So apparently Callum Wilson was obviously warming up the last Graham Potter game, but they were advised to only use Callum Wilson in emergency circumstances because if he comes onto the pitch, they have to pay his wages for the week, which I just found utterly nuts.
What?
Callum Wilson is there, Nick Fulkrug is there, but he keeps getting injured, obviously. And then throw Zirkzee into the mix with Fulkrug and Callum. It's just a bizarre one. I mean, I can fully see where Amorim's coming from. Zirkzee's what, 24?
He's younger. Is he 23, 22?
23, 24, I think he is.
Yeah,
So he's in
something
around
like
that bracket where he hasn't really fully developed yet. I have always thought he's not good enough to play for United, but a lot of people do see something in him with his hold-up play.
Yeah.
Mm.
Squad, I don't think he's a starter at all. He might be a decent option to lump into the box and get you a goal, like a Maguire type. I don't know.
Yeah, he's just not great in the air for such a big lad. Talk about not understanding your attributes as a young player. Surely if I was that size, I would intentionally be working on my headers and crosses into the box, but he just doesn't look... He looks most comfortable with the ball at his feet, with his back to goal. Yeah. He's one of those unique players, and that is a skill in itself. A lot of people can't play that. Rasmus Højlund really struggled with it. But he can lay the ball off and he can hold the ball up and he can get himself into those positions, and that seems to be where it backs to the wall. Liverpool games would suit Joshua Zirkzee, I think, but obviously Matheus Cunha is much, much better. So he's another one I could see going to make space in the squad.
Make squad room and get more money into the transfer.
He's going to be a hard one to get out though because of what they paid for him, what they're paying him. Again. So we've segued into the squad now anyway. So we start off, we haven't done this in a while, right? We start off with goalkeeper Lammens. Revelation. Has been a revelation. I have to eat my words from 2 weeks ago when I said that you shouldn't throw him into the first team spot, not ready, blah, blah, blah. What did I know? He was incredible the past 2 games.
I know. You thought we were wrong.
I did. I'd seen snippets of the lad play football and thought, he's just a Belgian Onana. But he's brilliant at coming out and collecting crosses.
Who said he couldn't? Remember, somebody said he couldn't catch a cross. He was crap in the air. Was it TalkSport?
It was doing the rounds, and it was like Andre Onana versus Sene Lammens, and it was like Lammens' clangers that he had made in the Belgian league for Antwerp, and there's a few where he just overconfidently came for the ball and made an absolute heap of it. But he hasn't done that yet at United at all.
He's working very hard. Apparently he's working very hard. He's staying after training and working with a goalkeeping coach.
Do you know what I like about him?
Last night.
Brilliant. Do you know what I really like about him? And it's unbecoming of a modern goalkeeper. He sticks to his line. If he's 50-50 on whether he can make it out, and he did this at the weekend, he did it, I think it was Haaland, where he was 50, no, sorry, not Haaland, obviously. I think it was Alexander Isak. Was it Salah or Isak had got in behind him? And they called him out for it. They were like, the goalkeeper should have came there, but he stuck to his gun, stayed in his line, and he saved it with his feet. The one where he went down and he just sort of saved it.
Yeah.
And it was David De Gea.
Yeah, and there was one for the Salah one. There was one he made himself really, really big.
The Salah one, the Salah one was the different one, but it was brilliant.
Yeah.
It was such a good save.
He made the right decision, and he came out and he made himself as big as possible. Like, not Schmeichel, he's not Schmeichel yet, as Ruben says, but he done kind of Schmeichel-esque move there where he made himself as big as possible, and Salah fluffed his lines, who has been shocking as well this last week's spot.
But how many goalkeepers have we seen in the past few weeks in the Premier League come charging out, either get it completely wrong, get rounded, either get it completely wrong, get sent off?
Yeah.
It's becoming a recurrent theme now because they were encouraged to be the last line of defence. So I just thought it was great to see a Man United goalkeeper. Remember Andre Onana used to come out and just get done every time, like fall, and it was embarrassing. Yeah, but Lammens just kind of went to come, decided, no, my best chance of getting this is actually sticking to my line and trying to make a save. Isak expects him to come, underconfident as he is, pings at the thing, Lammens just puts the leg out to save it. I thought, that's... To have the confidence to do that as a young man, fair play. Most people would have gone out there and just clambered through Isak or just got done. And I think Isak was expecting it because Isak was like, I've done the last defender here, the goalkeeper has to come. And then I'm sure when he looked up, he was like, why are you not coming? But I'm not the shit now. And then
what do I do?
Kind of like trying to get the power in behind it, and Lammens was like, no, got that one. He looks a very, very, very good prospect. And
very intelligent for 23.
Yeah. And you know what? See when Bayender is the backup goalkeeper, I don't mind him because he's the backup goalkeeper. The thing scaring me Bayender was prospect and being starting. But what do you think? Do you think he's good enough to cement number one and be, or do you think United will go for another keeper like we were talking about in January? a new goalkeeper in January, or would you trust the 24-year-old to take on the number one?
Who's available? We trusted David De Gea. David De Gea was very young when he came from Atletico Madrid. And we put our trust in him. And he wasn't great that first season. But I think it depends. If an experienced goalkeeper, if there's an opportunity to buy the like a Costa, then I would, go for that. But let's see how he does up until Christmas.
Okay. Centre backs?
And we'd never have Onana back.
He's getting on all right in Turkey,
Right,
Is he
good for him.
Well, he started well. I haven't heard anything. Like, he can't have made any clangers, because if he had, then they'd be all over it. They'd be shared everywhere.
All over the papers.
Yeah.
If he made mistakes, you wouldn't see it in social media. Because it doesn't fit the agenda, Rory.
Well,
Yeah. Oh, do you know what? He's still a United player. Like it or lump it, he's still a United player.
If he was doing well, you'd hear about it. United let another one go.
Yeah.
I think he's just doing all right. He's making no waves, which can be good for the man's career. I think he goes to Saudi.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I could see that. One big payday. So the centre backs, I thought, at the weekend were pretty good. There was one instance where I think it showed that Matthijs de Ligt and Harry Maguire in an ideal world should not be in the same team. And that was in the first 10 minutes when that long diagonal came over the top. And, Diallo had not read it. He was obviously sitting there right back, and de Ligt was trying to make it back. And I just thought, oh God, he looked very, very slow there. And fair play to him, he did try and get back and cover it and stuff like that. But I just thought, oh, flip, United need Lenny Yoro to learn how to hit a ball so that he can get into that team. Because I think that's the second instance we've seen where he just does not trust Lenny Yoro at the minute.
Yeah, I think it needs, at the way Amram plays in the system, and then that back three, he needs a back three with pace and legs. And physical presence. Yeah, I think so. A 2 out of 3, I would say, of that 3 need to be up and down quickly.
Yeah, I think with every centre back need pace. I think the only way that it works, and the only way you can push your fullbacks up the pitch, is if you have 2 quick centre backs either side of a pivot that you can trust, that will make that for your fullbacks. De Ligt has to be. Diallo can't push the whole. Like he does it in instances, but someone has to stay there and kind of shepherd De Ligt. If you notice the Sporting Lisbon team played with a right midfielder and a left midfielder because they trusted that the left centre back and the right centre back were going to be able to cover that space. United can't do that at the minute, and it's a worry. But they in the low block, they looked very secure. I thought Maguire and De Ligt in particular were brilliant at the weekend.
Yeah, like certain games, you will get away with it. It will work in games. But I think as an end game going forward, I don't think it's going to, and that's not obviously not going to work. I don't think that's what Amram wants as his team. I think.
You were awful quiet there. You were very vocal about Harry Maguire not so long ago.
I'm not well at the minute. I have the flu.
Oh, sorry to hear. What about Harry? What about your faith?
Look, fair play to him. He's come back.
Hero.
Lesser men wouldn't. He was pulled through the mire, and he was ridiculed at every corner, even from foreign dignitaries. So, for him to show that mental state, hats off.
Yeah.
And there's talk of him as well.
They would have wilted under that criticism, but he didn't. The captaincy was taken off him, and he's back, and he's worked hard. He's kept his head down. There's been no stupidness in social media. No, fair play. And I was the biggest critic of him because he deserved it at the time.
Oh yeah.
Did Maguire finish the game as captain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's vice captain, isn't he?
Uh-huh. Well, he is. He's part of that leadership group, isn't he?
Yeah. So Bruno Fernandes.
He's getting vice captain.
Yeah, so he wouldn't have got near that under Erik ten Hag, but Amram has come in, recognised his influence, and Bruno Fernandes handed him the captain's armband. He finished it then. Did anyone see him entering the dressing room after he had won man of the match? I thought that was really heartwarming.
That was very good.
Yeah,
See,
it was
did you see?
It showed you the camaraderie between the players in the dressing room.
and between him and Bruno Fernandes, because as you say, Mum, that would have been tough to take. You know, if you're in the dressing room and you look across and you see somebody else wearing the captain's armband, you're thinking this, and you've been relegated to the bench. There's talk of you leaving. You're in talks with West Ham and all that. That must have been soul destroying for Harry Maguire. Yeah. And then to come back in the way that he just keeps delivering for United. But call out for Bruno Fernandes. It only took till after the game when I realised how good an assist that was. That was sublime. How he controlled that with I was just. You look back and you're thinking it would have been spectacular if he had took a first touch there and pulled it down and then crossed it. But just to dink it over, he is a very, very skillful, talented player.
Yeah. That's. I mean, we speak about that the Hollywood pass. You know, he tries an awful lot of them, but when they come off, they're absolutely.
Yeah, that was pinpoint. Yeah.
Pinpoint, and I think Keane pointed it out, and actually has been praising Bruno this last while. Like you said right about first touch. Like, how many players would actually attempt to hit that first time?
Yeah.
You would take a touchdown and you would knock it out of your feet and then cross it. No, not Bruno. Boom.
And you know what?
Touch, you know,
in the modern day of football, when everything is tiki-taka and knocking it through and trying to play the special pass, it was a real advertisement for a good old-fashioned put it in and see what happens. It beat the Liverpool centre-back, so he was stranded. Harry Maguire had enough space just to turn it. It's not a powerful header. It's a dink over, and Maguire heads it in the right spot and it's in the back of the net. It's such a simple but effective goal. Now, the assist is brilliant, but when you have like Benjamin Sesko, we say this week on week, take a look at that. You know, whip the ball in the box. If it's done right, the lad will score.
Oh yeah, and I think that's like, you know, I backed Benjamin Sesko to score. I didn't expect that starting lineup. You know, and like he wasn't a good. He got his first goal and then he scored in consecutive games. So I like the way it was set up against Anfield. Don't get me wrong. Now that I've watched the game, looking back. But it's just hopefully another way we can play, depending on who we're playing against. You know, hopefully if Sesko does play at the weekend, and whoever's ready, they can just pick up where he left off, starting getting the goals. You know.
Yeah, well, it keeps opposition guessing as well.
Yeah, competition.
Swap around, you know, change tactics and personnel. Mm-hmm. You know, because Arne Slot was very salty after that match.
I thought Klopp was bad.
I think United came to play the low block and the long ball.
Yeah,
it was brilliant.
Martin O'Neill was very good this week at defending United. He defended them in TalkSport and said that Arne Slot shouldn't be coming out and talking about the tactics of anything. You know, what is Ruben Amorim meant to do? Go and apologise now because that's the way that he won the game?
Yeah,
no chance.
We didn't play the way Liverpool wanted us to play.
Exactly. We want you to come at us so that we can prove that we're better at coming at you. It's not going to happen. And you know what? Now the teams have seen that. We see the amount of teams in the common weeks now that sit in low block against Liverpool, like used to happen to us under Eric Ten Hag when people kind of knew that all we had in us was the counter attack, and they would just sit back and be like, "We can hit United here."
Yeah, but Simon Jordan came out with a great statement, and he said, "That's up to Arne Slot to break down that low block." He says that's up to him in training. He says Man United don't have to play, or any team don't have to play a certain way. He said, you know, it seems like a clone of football now, playing it out from the back. If you have not got the personnel to play it out from the back, it's suicide football.
Yeah, but this is where I'm intrigued in Arne Slot's reaction, Mum, because I mentioned Eric Ten Hag there for a reason. Eric Ten Hag got found out in the Premier League with this. Now, Arne Slot last season had a tremendous football team. I believe Jurgen Klopp's football team. And he was, Simon Jordan said this too, he was massively helped by the fact that four, arguably, of the biggest teams in England completely fell off the map. And he was left with very little competition, and Arsenal fluffed it, so he won the league. But this season, everybody is strengthened around him. And it's the same old things that used to get thrown at Eric Ten Hag. It's naive. It can't break down the low block. He's struggling. He's coming out with salty comments. I don't think Arne Slot will fold under this. I think he will get it right because the Liverpool squad, not just their team, their 11, their squad is incredibly deep. But it's all the stuff that get thrown at the previous Dutch manager. And I watched PSV Eindhoven, who were very good against Lappin the other night. I wanted to watch it because of Scott and Rasmus Højlund, to be honest.
Yeah.
Højlund unfortunately is injured. But you watch PSV play and they were very, as Slot would expect. You know, they were up against a bigger team, but they still came out and they played and they went at it and they tried to create chances. The commentator said twice this is indicative of Dutch football. They do have a go. So now that Arne Slot is up against teams that are going to sit back, they're going to respect the champions, as it were. It's going to be interesting to see how he does break teams down in the low block, because it got very frustrating for our Dutch manager after it wasn't going right, and he eventually managed himself out of football, because we've seen it at Bayer Leverkusen, he has not recovered from the dent he took in the Premier League. I said this to you two before, it must be very hard for someone who succeeded for so long to watch their methods fail and sit and think, what's going right? It can't be me, because I'm a winner. Proven that in the past. Why isn't that working now?
Yeah. Different league, different level.
That's it.
Different league, £420 million worth of investment in new players, and it seems to have upset the rhythm of Liverpool. Mad.
And you would think it would be the absolute opposite. Like we saw and spoke, you know, you said yourself, Rory, and I think we all agreed. You know, like, this is Liverpool's league to run away with this year, yeah?
I thought
we all thought it going into the season after last season.
Yeah.
They won comfortably. They've spent $500 million on the probably arguably one of the best strikers in the league last year in Isak. Florian Wirtz, the superstar of that Bayer Leverkusen team. You know, exciting win-backs. Kirkes, Frimpong. Good midfield. Van Dijk's still there. Salah stayed. You thought it was nailed on?
Yeah, it's a weird one. And do you know what? He's not giving his players time to adjust, because he keeps throwing Wirtz in there. He keeps throwing, you know, Alexander Isak. He's depending on him. Ekitike should have started versus United. He's the striker that's in form, but because of the price tag,
he looks good.
Yeah, he does. He looks brilliant. But because of the price tag of Alexander Isak and the big occasion at Anfield, it has to be Isak. That was the wrong decision. I think if he had played Ekitike could have exposed us with his pace. But
yeah, don't know. But we won.
That's it. Massive 3 points. We were talking about the squad, into the midfield again. The midfield is the only thing against Liverpool, guys, that I was sitting looking at it going, oh, no. Casemiro dragged off again before he was sent off. He doesn't look physically good enough to play for a Premier League team at the minute, but he starts week in, week out. So, Mum, we'll put this one to you, even though you're sick. Why not Kobbie Mainoo?
I think that he came out in an interview, I forget when it was, a few weeks ago, and he said that Kobbie Mainoo, he's been instructing Kobbie Mainoo to play a new role, and that he hasn't grasped it yet. So, and maybe Kobbie Mainoo doesn't like what he's been asked to do. Kobbie Mainoo had a great breakout year, but obviously Ruben Amorim is saying something that he doesn't trust or doesn't like. Mm-hmm. And Casemiro is an old head.
Yeah.
Experience, leadership.
Exactly, yeah. Especially that atmosphere at Anfield was just a cauldron, like.
Yeah, they were very good. The Liverpool fans.
Yeah. And it takes a special player or a very experienced player who's played in cauldrons like that to not lose their head. You know, especially if things are going wrong. And I think it's because of Casemiro's experience and because they want Kobbie Mainoo to play a different role. They want him to play a deeper role.
Deeper where?
I don't know whether it's a number 6 or not, Rory. But it's definitely not a number 10.
So they want him to play the Bruno role?
They want him to play the Bruno role, yeah.
Well then, he's going to leave then.
Well, that's it.
Do you know, he is going to leave, Kobbie Mainoo. He is not getting on over Bruno Fernandes, okay? Ruben Amorim and Bruno Fernandes are Portuguese. There's no way of explaining it better than this, okay? Bruno Fernandes was asked to stay by the new Portuguese coach. Kobbie Mainoo will always be second to Bruno Fernandes in the coming years for as long as Bruno is there, okay? And he won't play him over Casemiro, even though Casemiro is showing glaring weaknesses in his game in midfield. He's going to leave. You hit the nail on the head earlier. It's a World Cup year. Kobe Mainoo won't get near the England team if he's sitting playing second fiddle to Casemiro.
It's a strange one. I know it sounds. It could be the only or a loan. Let him go on loan.
Yeah.
You know, like
Didn't he come out and say, sorry to interrupt, Kieran, didn't he come out and say that nobody's going on loan in January?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Not too sure.
He said that in an interview that it was from a source that Man United hierarchy have backed Ruben Amorim and said that nobody's going on loan in January.
I think Kobe Mainoo's going to have to leave.
And there's talk of us getting Conor Gallagher on loan.
To leave in the summer. Kobe Mainoo wanted out in the summer.
Doesn't Kobe Mainoo only have 6 months left in his contract?
I
don't think so.
He didn't sign an extension, no.
Did he sign an extension?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
I don't think he's signed yet.
Yeah, that'd be interesting when his contract actually runs out. Because if he goes into the Bosman in January, he'll agree to go to a different contract or go to a different team. No, I'm wrong. It's 2027.
Yeah, I knew it was a bit longer. He's a few years on it, but they wanted time down for a longer one.
An extension.
You know,
Okay.
at the end, I know. Yeah, like he is what 21, 20, isn't he? Just turned 20.
21. He's pretty young. Yeah.
You know, I know he's not going to replace Bruno at the minute. That Bruno's 31. So, you know, how long does Bruno stay at United for? Is the big question.
Well, there's talk about him leaving next summer.
Yeah.
But is he good enough to step into the Bruno Fernandes role?
Well, see, this is it. And this is why they're assessing him, and this is why they said that he's not leaving in January. Because they're sort of like moulding him to be in that role.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Right, so Kieran, I'm going to give you 2 examples of midfielders in the Premier League, and you can tell me if Kobe Mainoo is ahead of them, right? And they're both players that were linked to United. So Adam Wharton or Kobe Mainoo to play midfield next year for United.
Oh, I'd take Ward.
Carlos Baleba or Kobe Mainoo.
Based on the Baleba of last year, I would say Baleba.
Yeah, see, he just doesn't look. I know. I agree. Like he's very, very young, right? And players mature at different levels. And Baleba and Wharton are playing for 2 lesser clubs, albeit playing very, very well. Kobe Mainoo could be starting for a team there if he was playing at that lesser level, but I don't know where he plays. He doesn't.
That's what you can say. You know, if say it was Mainoo playing for Brighton or Palace. You know.
Yeah, I just don't know if. Right, so you look at Palace as an example, right? And if him and Adam Wharton were in the same team, they'd probably be very good because Wharton keeps the ball very, very well, and Kobe Mainoo definitely comes forward well. I just look at the Grimsby game where the onus was put on Kobe Mainoo to stand up and show who he was. You know, if you are a good player, then run that midfield, then show that you have the maturity and the confidence of a senior player to come in and outshine a League 2 team. He was woeful. He kept giving the ball away. He didn't look like he knew his defensive duties. He was getting out battled in midfield. He looks like a very talented flair player. And then to me, I would sit and go, right, well, you probably would be best in the 10 role. Not the 10 off either side of our striker, but I think like 2 holding mids and a 10. Like if he went to Spurs in the summer, I think he'd be electric for Spurs, playing the James Maddison role.
Yeah. Like he has brilliant close control and ball control with his feet in tight spaces, and he, you know, we've seen some of the goals he scored and the clutch goals he scored, and you know he has that in his locker. I just think the midfield part of his game, because we don't have a very talented array of central midfielders at the top of their game in that squad. Do you know? And
yeah,
on one side I'm like, if for instance in the summer we do go for them players as we're rumoured to do, and Bruno stays another year or 2, I wouldn't blame him for going. But I know there's something there with Kobe Mainoo, and maybe it's just the academy glasses, the United born and bred, like the Rashford and all the rest. You don't want him to go and
Garnacho.
Yeah, Garnacho's a rat anyway. But anyway.
But much loved Rat.
He was bought in from Atletico.
Yeah.
And much loved Rat. But yeah, what the point I'm trying to make here is if Adam Wharton or Corus Baleba came into Manchester United training tomorrow, right? They would play next Saturday. Casemiro would be out of the team. Wharton would either be in as a central midfielder to hold the ball and can dictate control of the ball, pass the ball through, as we see Adam Wharton doing. He's not the strongest in the tackle, Adam Wharton, but he does play centre midfield really, really well. Corus Baleba would definitely start, but he's a different sort of player. He would start because he's a holding midfielder, a bit like Moise Caicedo. You know, he gets around the pitch. He's brilliant at tackle, brilliant at dispossessing. That doesn't bode well for Kobe Mainoo. That if two lads the same age as him were brought in, he wouldn't get near the first team. So he has to wait now until Bruno Fernandes comes out the door to get into that team. But does it not make more sense, considering both those lads are at lesser clubs, to just buy Adam Wharton and Corus Baleba and let the Manchester United team be Baleba, Wharton, Cunha, Mbeumo, Wolves, Brentford, Brighton, Palace. The United of old, the model of old. Buy from the teams around you. Buy the best players that are coming through the teams around you. Rio Ferdinand and that, like. No bedding in periods because Adam Wharton is an England player and he's playing for Crystal Palace.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really good.
To that, do you get rid of Kobe Mainoo then? Would you swap Kobe Mainoo for Adam Wharton or Corus Baleba?
For both of them.
But there's the question. Like, if Brighton come along tomorrow and say, right, Kieran, I'll give you Baleba for Mainoo, does the academy bias weigh heavy on you? Would you be tempted to turn around and say no?
No, I don't think I'm tempted in the way I don't it depends on Kobe Mainoo at the end of the day, but like if the age he is, and it's like you do need competition. Like you look at the Sesko and Cunha debate.
Yeah.
You want players fighting every day for their spot in that team.
But the man we're talking about can't replace kids. Contextually, you cannot replace Casemiro. Casemiro is playing every week over him. And when the changes to be made in midfield, as Ruben Amorim does, he regurgitates the same substitutions here and the same transitions. We've seen Bruno Fernandes replaced with Kobe Mainoo against Liverpool, which I thought, right, fair play, first time I've seen that. When Casemiro is replaced, it's Manuel Ugarte.
Yeah.
And in the same sense that Casemiro and Ugarte might be interchangeable, Kieran, we're not seeing Kobe Mainoo. Has Kobe Mainoo started the game since Grimsby?
I don't think so.
No, he's just had cameos. He's got same as Ugarte. He's got cameos. The subs are made. It's Ugarte for Casemiro, Ugarte on for Casemiro, and Mainoo on for either a Mount or Bruno. Well, if they take Bruno, did they take Bruno off there on Sunday?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't see that happening very often.
No, he took him off after. I can't remember what minutes it was, but he took him off against Liverpool. I thought, fair play. Harry Maguire seemed the game out as the captain and Kobe Mainoo came onto the pitch to try and retain the ball, it looked like. Look, you can talk till you're blue in the face about Kobe Mainoo. Mum, what do you think? Keep the academy boy or find a replacement?
Look, you can't play that role in Bolton for, then you have to let him go. If he's not going to fit into that system, then you have to let him go.
Would you wait until...
I'm sentimental about the academy, to be quite honest. If you can make money on him, then yep.
Just can't think of the last academy one that really worked out, guys. Help me with that.
What do you count as working out?
Worked out for us. The last one that came through and was stellar for us. I mean, I'm not going to bore you with Rashford, but Rashford has turned it on for Barcelona.
He has, yeah. But I like Rashford. I'm glad he's doing well. And United are our team in transition, not Liverpool. And we never let the transition happen. We're swapping managers, as Rashford said himself. And I think we're seeing a happy Rashford in a settled team that knows what way they're playing with superstars around him, and La Liga is not as a competitive league, in my opinion, as the Premier League.
No, he was phenomenal the other night against Olympiacos.
Yeah,
because I haven't watched that game. He was unreal.
Yeah, and we've seen what Anthony can do when he went to the La Liga.
Yeah.
and couldn't do it in the Premier League. I think La Liga suits wingers like Rashford, like Anthony. Not the pressure's off. That Barcelona team were looking good. I think it suits Rashford, and I'm glad he's doing well. But
I think La Liga you get space, don't you? You're like,
you far more space.
Yeah, they play like interception football instead of man-to-man tackling.
Passing lanes and cutting off, and come on, you have the chance to take somebody on.
I don't even know what TV broadcaster has it now, because I tried to watch it a few times when it was on Sky and thought, this is shit.
Yeah, it doesn't make great watching.
No, it's boring.
A lot of the time, unless you're watching, even Glasgow now is not. Yeah, it's not the same as it was back in the day. But so
we rattle on, guys. Coming up to previewing the weekend, and coming off the back of Ruben Amorim's first 2 games consecutively won in the Premier League, Manchester United's first time winning at Anfield in over 10 years.
9 years.
And Manchester United being 3 points off second. So Brighton is at the weekend. What do you think, Mum? Are we going into the end of the weekend second place?
No, I'm predicting a win. And then I hope we'll win the next 2, because I want to see that young lad being able to get his hair cut.
Who?
Getting out of hand.
Oh, this guy on a...
You've not seen him?
Yeah, I've seen him, no.
He hasn't cut his hair in a long, long time.
I'll send you. He's actually wearing a bald cap now.
He's win 5 in a row.
I've heard that.
His hair's bigger than Fellaini's, like.
Yeah.
I just checked Man City's goal difference, and it's plus 11, so there's no chance we go into Monday's second, even in the miraculous world of it.
No, it's
but win. Brighton do not look the same team that Brighton have been in previous seasons. They don't look. They're very hit and miss. Although Donny Welbeck is having the season of his life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're definitely beatable, though. They have got better. If you just look through their start to the season, right? So their start to the season, they drew 1-1 with Fulham, got beat 2-0 by Everton, which wasn't great, although Everton were playing at their new stadium. They had that brilliant one against Man City, where they beat City 2-1, and followed it up by getting beat 2-1 by Bournemouth. Then they drew 2 each with Spurs. Now, since that, they've beaten Chelsea 3-1, and they beat Newcastle 2-1 after a 1-1 draw with Wolves. So you look at their away record, and they are away. Their away record is poor. Really poor. Bournemouth done them, Everton done them, Wolves managed to get a 1-1 with them. We've all seen how poor Wolves are. And at home they're really strong, so a real chance for United to take it to them and actually beat them.
Yeah, well, as I was saying earlier, United haven't beaten Brighton in the Premier League since in the last 4 or 5 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Brighton are a bogey team for us. They play that style.
Real. You're always guaranteed to get beat 2-1 by Brighton.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think United are bound to be riding high now at the minute, and there's bound to be a bit of belief. And I think that the United will not have had this under Ruben Amorim before.
No.
Go out and beat someone, go into the international break, come out of the international break, win their game against Liverpool at Anfield. Bound to be a bit of a buzz now. It's going to be interesting to see a United team play with a bit of confidence, which we haven't seen under Amorim yet.
If that's my fear about the weekend is is it a corner turned, or is it one of those games like we thought last season with the Etihad beating City 2-1? Right, is this the turning point where the confidence is going to be up the tail drop? We're going to follow it on with more victories and see Amorim pick up more points, and it didn't go well. As with other, not just Ruben Amorim, but other managers, Ten Hag and different things. We thought this is United settling in the squad, and they're going to be more consistent and play the football we love to watch. But I really hope I'm wrong. It is as Peter Drury said at the weekend. Is this the Pallister moment? Is this the Steve Bruce moment, or the 1-2-1 header? And Fergie was near getting the sack.
Yeah.
It has to happen at some point, guys. Some point, guys.
I think so.
What was that like, Mum, to go through that Alex Ferguson era when United weren't succeeding? Like, well, I know it's so heightened now in the era of social media, but was there the pressure that Ruben Amorim is facing? Like, was Ferguson almost out the door?
God, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's banners all over Old Trafford. I remember God have mercy on your granddad going off every week. He has to go. That's it. He has
Tara
to go.
Fergie. I remember that famous paper clipping. I've seen it.
Yeah. Oh, it was toxic.
Mm-hmm.
It really was.
But he got 5 years.
Mark Robbins won his goal in the FA Cup. That was the turning point.
Yep.
Like, we're so fickle as fans. We really are. But yes, to your question, it was very toxic at that point. It was a good job there wasn't social media, or he would have went.
Yeah. Do you think the expectations in football have now shifted? It was an interesting couple of weeks there in football where you've got, you've got Ange Postecoglou was a classic example. He won the first trophy at Tottenham Hotspur, but he was woeful in the league, so they didn't retain him. You're saying that Ferguson obviously was woeful in the league, but the FA Cup saved him, but it isn't good enough now to save Ange. Eric Ten Hag managed the last couple of seasons with us because he delivered the League Cup and the FA Cup. And the football style was poor. Is that, and I'm not a fan of giving managers time because I think you should have instant results, but does that prove me wrong? Does that mean that you should stick with a manager? And to Jim Ratcliffe's point, should Amorim get 3 years no matter what?
I think that, back in when Ferguson, he came from Aberdeen to Manchester, there wasn't the money that there is in the Premier League now. There wasn't the coverage in football matches that there is now. There's pressure financially, I think, more so than successfully. There's teams and their boards are happy if they make the top four, if they get Champions League money, if they get Europa League money. So I think it's a different ball game, and the like of giving him time. I think they're looking at the club blueprint rather than the Ferguson blueprint, because it's a different era. They give, like, Jurgen Klopp at the start, and I would go in some of the forums just for the crap, like some of the Liverpool ones, and the meltdown was the same as it would be for us if we were losing. But they gave him time. The board stuck by him, and look at the success he brought them.
Yeah.
So I think that is not so much Ferguson. It's the amount of money now that's in the Premier League that has boards or owners like that hothead, and what do you call him? Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
You're sacked. It's stay in the Premier League at all costs.
Yeah.
So I think it's money, finance more than.
And I think Mikel Arteta too at Arsenal. Arsenal haven't won anything, but they're a really stable influence in the Premier League.
But their revenue is very high, Rory, because they keep getting it's the top four. They haven't won anything of significance.
Yeah. You think about Arsenal there, like they were at Highbury for so long, and then they got their big new stadium. Like, you imagine the how much more revenue once that stadium was completed that they bring in on match day revenue alone, and then finishing second how many years? They're like probably it's the biggest club in London. The most history and the most successful club in London. Them and Chelsea, maybe, I'll let them fight that out. But they're a stable club and they make consistent, decent profit on the new stadium and everything. And finishing second is still worth. I know it's not what they want, but it's still worth a lot of money. And then the Champions League money as well.
I don't like in football how finishing second is simply that's the all end all. They finish second or they choke the game. I think you should really contextualise who they were up against. Like, he lost leagues to Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp. Do you know what I mean? Like, they are juggernauts. They are some of they're some of the ones that'll stick in my memory when I'm a bit older and I'm watching football and stuff. But like, Liverpool's Jurgen Klopp was pretty good to watch, and Pep Guardiola was the best thing I've seen since Ferguson. It was just incredible. It's like, that Man City team, why he did it, how he kept doing it. It was just incredible to watch. But I think Arsenal have really afforded themselves stability by sticking by Mikel Arteta. I wouldn't look at the Jurgen Klopp model because I think he did it differently to what Amram will try and do at United. I think he's more akin to Arteta, but I hope he's more successful if that makes any sense. In that Arteta had to weed out some real poisonous egos through his time at Arsenal. There were some players there that just weren't fit. Aubameyang is the one that sticks in the memory. He was a prick of a lad to try and deal with, and he got him out, of the club. Mesut Ozil, story after story about his lack of discipline, his training methods, and not wanting to be there and earning too much money. I think that was more like what we were experiencing in United: overpaid, overpriced, overhyped, perceived superstars that couldn't do it for Arsenal, that he had to wait out and then spend a few years replacing. And it's not been instantaneous for Mikel Arteta, and he has failed a few times and come short a few times. But Arsenal have been brilliantly patient because they look very weird this year.
Yeah, it's not. It's like we've touched on it before, that the toxic atmosphere and the workplace vibe and the mindset and mentality of the team. It takes time as well to fix the attitudes and the too much wages players, Aubameyang players that you need to weed out and build that dressing room, that club atmosphere that you need to be successful. And I think Arsenal are reaping the benefits at the moment, the stability that they have with Arteta. And it's paid off. It's paid off for them, sticking with them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when you play the likes of Brighton this weekend and you're coming off the back of that Liverpool win, this is the time that you want to build momentum. But much like the Arsenal of old, if they slip, they slip. Don't get on their backs. The mistakes are going to come. United are not a good team at the minute. They're a team that is, I think, fighting at 100% finally. But 100% of Manchester United is not a very good reflection of where we need to be. And I think that's as kind as I can be to them, that they're putting the effort in to get these wins. And sometimes in football, that's all it takes. All it takes is fight, grit and determination, and all fighting for each other, which I think they're doing now. They're playing as a team. So, prediction time. Mum's going 2-1.
2-1 Brighton. Are confident?
2-1.
2-1. Kieran.
I'm gonna go. I'll go 3-1. Cunha's gonna get his first goal.
Think so?
Yeah.
I think he plays Sesko this weekend. Well, so do I. Can't.
See who he plays.
I've watched Brighton play twice, Kieran, and I can't remember them playing with a high line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could be right in that one. I know they've Dunk at the back as well, don't they?
Lewis Dunk, and then the Dutch lad that used to be in the Liverpool youth ranks. He's
Van de Heck or something you call him.
Yeah, Van Hacke or something.
Van Heck, yeah, something like that. But I would like to see Cunha after that performance against Liverpool. I would like to see Cunha.
I like Cunha off the left. I just think he plays Sesko because I think, unless I'm completely wrong, I think they play deeper now because their centre backs aren't quick.
Because I think did you listen to the press conference there? Or did you get a chance to work?
No.
Maguire and Mount have a slight knock, nothing to worry about.
Okay.
But they might not be available for tomorrow.
Last season that could have been disastrous. This season it just means that Cunha plays with Sesko and Bruno, and Lauro comes into the team. Yeah.
So
last season I would have been up to Heido with that. I think we've got cover now.
We should do, but 3-1. I'm going to go 3-1.
I think 2-1. I think Sesko scores this weekend because he's in my fantasy team now.
I've been Boomer on my team, so hope he does well. He's done well so far.
Hopefully it's 3 points and we can go into next week and just keep this momentum train going, keep the hype train going. Ruben Amorim's Real Army pushing for the Premier League.
Keep the vibes going. 21.
It could be joint second by the end of the weekend. It's possible. It takes a lot to happen, but it's doable.
But I'm not gonna. This is a wee bit of hopium. But have you seen apparently this AI octopus thing that predicted Argentina to win the World Cup?
I remember the octopus prediction.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who did it predict to win the Premier League?
Man United.
Yep.
No way.
It's got a few wrongs since Argentina, though.
Put the hook on an octopus.
Look,
Surely not.
all it takes, right, is Man City, Bournemouth, Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham, and Sunderland to lose this weekend. Manchester United to win.
That's it.
That's a big ask.
Hey?
That's a big ask.
It's football. Anything can
Football,
happen.
I know.
Second on Monday after the meltdown there was over how Ruben Amorim is managing the team. Can you imagine it? Being amazing.
Oh my God.
But we shall see you all next week. Thanks for listening as always, and check out the social media pages if you can, folks.
Folks.
Bye.
Thank you, folks. Bye.